Hello, my name is Brenda Gilpin, and I chose my topic to be Primate Behavior Specialization. My major is Primate Behavior and Ecology because I would love to work with monkeys and apes. Before I start the presentation, I do need to put out a warning because I do have 3 pictures that are, horrific pictures of primates in laboratory settings, and they are extreme pictures. But I think it's important that if a person, a primatologist or an animal behaviorist, does want to work in this field, it is important that they know how it can be very disturbing and a very tough job. So that's the reason I've included those pictures. This is me. I went to Moorpark College in Moorpark, California. They have an entire zoo there, and you get a 2-year degree in animal behavior. We had to take pre-vet classes. We had to train animals. All kinds of animal husbandry. We had to do shows on the weekend for the public. And in the process, we also visited places all over California, including aquariums, UC Davis Medical Center. So we did see the restraint chairs that they put the rhesus macaques in and, all of that. And we went behind the scenes at several zoos, both Northern and Southern California. We visited rescues, educational facilities, and entertainment facilities like SeaWorld. We also got to go behind the scenes at several different zoos. So this school is a great school to give you a start if you want to work with any kind of an animal. And before I continue, I want to make sure everybody knows that primates include monkeys, apes, and humans, although there are no humans in this particular picture. Possible careers, if you have a primate behavior specialization, are college teaching and research. I think this is one of the top ones. And usually a teacher doing this would be working through departments in universities and colleges such as anthropology, sociology, entomology, biology, zoology, and psychology. This career would require a PhD. Unless if you work at a junior college, you may be able to get by with a master's degree. However, because the job is very desirable, there is a lot of competition for it. And all of the jobs that I'll be mentioning, when I looked up the pay rates, they all said that moderate pay, except there were a couple that said moderate to low pay. So you want rich working with the primates. A second job, it relates to the pictures that I'll be showing you later, and that is government and private research. And usually the research involves health-related areas. Sometimes they'll have an animal behaviorist or a primate behaviorist come in and observe the research. And if they're testing the drugs or chemical effects on the primate, the behaviorist would tell them if this is a natural behavior, if this behavior is caused by the drug. Also, they hired people. We actually had a guest speaker in one of my classes, and she was hired at an animal facility, a lab, to go in, and because the animals were going through severe trauma with whatever the experimentation was, her job was to reduce all other stresses as much as possible to make their lives the best possible while they're through the different types of biomedical research. She did not last very long. It was a very, very stressful job. She felt sad every day. It was very hard. Again, this job is another one that involves moderate pay. Another job is working as a zookeeper. To be a zookeeper, you would need a bachelor's degree, and also they prefer that you have an animal training. And the animal training is zoos, their old purpose used to be entertainment, but now the goal, now that we've learned more about animals, the goal is education instead, to teach the public about animals, because usually the more people know about animals, the more they care about them. So that's an important goal. Also conservation and teaching about plants as well is a goal for working in the zoo. And the reason they need animal training is they may train a seal or a sea lion to come up out of the water and spin around so that they can do a check of its body to make sure there's no scratches or anything that any kind of sickness that's visible that they would need to call the vet in for. For another example would be a gorilla that is diabetic. They might have train him to offer his arm so that they can draw blood on a regular basis to keep track of his health. And another reason, and this occurred, I was a docent at the Los Angeles Zoo for 2 years, and a fire broke out because of a heat lamp. And so luckily they had the animals trained to come to the side of the cage and offer their arm. And so they were able to inject them, knock them down, put them in a crate, and take them safely out until the problem was resolved. So that's the reason it's not for entertainment purpose. SeaWorld is entertainment purposes. So they're training to entertain people. And the zookeeper jobs are different. Another job, here are the 3 biomedical pictures. This one isn't too horrible. I mean, it's not great, and this is, of course, terrible and the most terrible. So just go right on by those. So the 4th job is working as a curator, and a curator can be at a zoo or a museum, and their job is to acquire, maintain, and display animal collections. They also make sure that the caregivers are doing a good job taking care of the animals. They also make sure the exhibits work well for the benefit of the animal and for the benefit of the public, because they have to make the money to be able to take care of the animals. So an example would be they would want to make sure there's a place where the animals can get away from the public, so they aren't overly stressed if they do not want to be right in front of the public eye. And to be a curator, you would need a PhD or a doctorate in veterinary medicine. A 5th job is doing research at the zoo. Sometimes the zoo will hire researchers to do management, conservation, care of wild animals. And I know at the Los Angeles Zoo, they trained animals to do natural behavior so that they could release them back in the wild for the species survival program. They did that with condors, some type of oryx, and also lion-tailed macaques. And they have released several back into the wild and brought the populations back up. Another type of research in the zoo would be putting out a variety of enrichment for the animals to see which enrichment they use and which ones they actually are not interested in. That way they can bet the animal and provide enriching items that make their life in captivity a little bit better. And to do this type of research, you need a PhD or a doctorate in veterinary medicine. Another possibility is working as a research assistant. And with this, you would usually work with faculty or staff, and you would help design and carry out research. And because you're an assistant, you would only need a Bachelor of Science or a Master's in Science. But you also need skills in the wonderful world of statistical analysis and computers. And the last job I have down is working as a veterinary technician. There's three different names. There's certified veterinary technician, licensed, or registered veterinary technician. And several community colleges offer 2-year where a person can get this certification. And they usually, at the same time, they would like the individual to be working at a local vet to get hands-on work experience. For all of these careers, you would want a degree in primatology if possible. I mean, some of them you could get by with animal behavior. But one wonderful thing about Central Washington University is they are the only school in the entire United States that has a direct graduate degree in primatology. All of the other universities, your major would be in related fields such as anthropology, biology, or zoology. And then you would minor or just have a focus in primatology. Things you can do aside from school, well, one is with school, is if you did research, that would help you have more experience to put on your resume. Then outside of school, if you wanted to get excellent experience for this type of career, you could work as a veterinary technician. And if you specifically want primates, it would be great if you could be at a zoo or a place where they do work with primates. You could also volunteer at zoos, sanctuaries, or animal rescues. And the school that I mentioned before, the 2-year degree at Moore Park College in California, that's a terrific place to get a start because you're able to do projects at different places that you think you would like to work. You get to visit all those places behind the scenes, and you have pre-vet classes, animal diversity, animal behavior, and you actually work with animals hands-on to get lots of experience. And everyone really enjoys that program. Another possible avenue is doing field research, which sounds great, and I'm sure it is, but you would be in the natural habitat, which of course, like I said, sounds wonderful. However, often there's no bathroom, there's no showering, there's all kinds of pests and diseases that you can get, so you have to, you have a tough cookie to do the field research. Although some of the field research is done in sanctuaries and zoos and also the government laboratory facilities. Typical courses that you take to get this degree would be several classes related to biology, psychology, and anthropology. More specifically would be animal behavior, animal diversity, primate behavior, primate evolution, primate studies, research methods, statistics, primate social behavior, ecology, primate evolution, and conservation. You would have a GPA of 3.0 or above. And as I've said, you can see these are some of the most famous primatologists. Her head is cut off, but that's Birute Galdicus. And Jane Goodall. You can see, even though you don't get rich becoming a primatologist, but you do, it is definitely very, very rewarding. That was Diane Fossey, and here's Franz de Waal. And I mean, just imagine this, Diane Fossey with all the mountain gorillas, no longer with us. And again, Jane Goodall. These are the most famous. There's a lot of primatologists that have done a lot of work, but I just included these because they were the most famous. And that